you guys don't know this, Anastassia dances
Oh.
to the little jingle before the show.
And you know what? I was just thinking, I was like, it kind of puts me in this, like, it relaxes me a little bit. It's such like relaxing music, I find, that I'm like, okay, it like gets me into the mode. I dance a little bit, and then you guys don't see it, but now you do.
And now you got to.
You know exactly what I'm doing every week.
Exactly. I'm Ann Brennan.
And I'm Anastassia Van Greshapy.
And we're the marketing moms. Our job is to make your life easier. I'm looking for the thing that's sitting right here on my lap so I can go to the top and find everything. We are marketing moms, and that's our job, is to make everything easier for marketing, because it doesn't have to be hard. And I think so many people think it is. So I actually love our topic today, because we're going to talk about repurposing evergreen content. But before I do that, I want to remind you to subscribe wherever you're listening to or watching the show. Make sure you're sharing it too, because we're a small business. We run this show as a way of building our business and helping small businesses. Because the truth is, what we did, we started this because we have so many people who call us and they say, I need help. And we're like, we're here to help, right? But there's only so many clients we can take on. And especially newer people who are solopreneurs, we couldn't help them. But this way we can do it, and they can learn.
And you know what we never ask for? Reviews.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
leave us a review wherever you're listening.
Absolutely.
And hopefully it's good.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you know what? I should just create a little slide here for Luna so that we can talk.
I know, that's what I said.
So I do have to tell you about Luna. So Luna's my Great Dane puppy. She's 7, almost 8 months now. And she, every week she gets into something, but this is a sweet story. So we take her because of where I work about 45 minutes from my house, and she's too little to leave at home because she's so big she could destroy the entire house in a minute. So I bring her here. I take her to doggy daycare, and she's tired when I pick her up. She's so tired. So last night I pick her up, I bring her home. She sleeps the whole way home.
Oh, really?
I get her home. She gets out of the car. I feed her. I want to let her out, but no, she goes upstairs to her crate and goes into her crate to go to sleep. And then I'm like, but she has to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So this can't be good. So I waited. I was like, maybe she just needs a little rest, and I'll go get her. So 2 hours later, I go up to get her, and I go up, I try to get her out. She looks up at me and she's like, I'm not getting out of this crate. I'm just not doing it. And I'm coaxing her. I finally coax her out. She comes down. Our stairs have like a couple of little steps, right? There's like several steps and then a bunch of steps. She goes down the first set, so it's like the first 2 or 3 steps. And then she looks at me and she turns right back around.
And then what are you going to do? It's not like you can pick her up.
I can't pick her up. So she's in her crate. She slept through the night.
At this particular place where the doggy daycare is, they have this huge sign out front that says dogs sleep better after daycare.
Oh.
And I've seen it so many times, and I'm like, why do people care? Like, I don't know. I guess my dogs have always been like really good about going and laying down, and they don't disrupt me at night. But now I see that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She sleeps and doesn't get into anything.
And maybe one day, I was thinking about her earlier today on the way over. I'm like, at some point, maybe she'll be calm enough to like let her roam around the office.
Yes. That would be really nice if she ever gets to that point.
Yes.
It'll be really nice.
I feel like we should have recorded podcasts with her, like when you first got her.
It would have been so nice.
It would have been like so hectic, but just for people to see like a behind the scenes, like what was going on in this office.
Insane. All right. So we are going to go to the real topic today, which is repurposing evergreen content. And I think it's important to understand what evergreen content is. So I think you understand repurposing. We've talked about that before. That is where you take something and you figure out how to make multiple things out of multiple pieces of content out of just one, right? And we're going to tell you what kinds of content that is, that you'll use and what to do with it. Mm-hmm. But first of all, you have to understand what evergreen content is. So
yes. So and actually, it's funny because I think this term isn't widely used. Somebody recently asked me what evergreen was because I was like, oh, create some evergreen. And she was like, what does that mean? And I'm like, oh, it means you can put it up all year. So just like an evergreen tree, like your pine trees that are green all year, That's the same thing with evergreen content. It is content that can be used at any point. It's not specific to a season. It's not specific to a holiday. It's not specific to, it could be specific to a person that's working with you, but something that at any point you're like, I have nothing to post something that's evergreen.
Right. And here's some good examples. Think about, actually, since we're talking about trees, think about, we work with Four Season Land Care. They have a blog. It is very hard to do evergreen content for a land care company. However, we can talk about cleaning out gutters at any time of the year because you have to do that, right?
Yeah.
So that would be his piece of evergreen content. What would not be evergreen content is how to sod my yard, because you're only going to sod the yard and
where we live. Yeah,
where we live.
And you're not planting, you're doing your planting. If you're planting new shrubs and new bushes, you're only doing that in the spring and in the fall. You're not doing that in the heat of Maryland summer or in the cold of the winter.
Right. So that's not evergreen content. However, for us, we have a lot of
planning.
evergreen.
You could do, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
You could do planning.
Yes.
So like, what do you want your landscape to look like? You can do that at any time of the year.
Exactly. So yeah, so you just have to think of what are those evergreen pieces that you're going to do. So some companies are easier. We're everything we do is evergreen.
Yes.
For the most part. Now, our not evergreen things are when we do campaigns at the end of the year where we usually start in about September, where we talk about, hey, you have to get ready for winter, you have to get ready for the holidays, and let's create posts for that. How do you create posts for that? Well, that's what we'd be talking about. But generally, we're talking about things that are year round. I'm looking up at the board here with our clients, and I'm thinking our insurance agents, their evergreen content would be auto insurance. Auto insurance is all year long. Boat insurance, maybe you're going to talk about that more in the spring, right? More in the spring, the summer, because
you could still mention it in the off season if people are thinking about looking for a new place. But those are like small mentions. It's not going to be. You're not putting a campaign about that. You're not.
Right. Exactly.
It's like a mention, not really a focus. So
absolutely. So yeah. So evergreen content is content you can post all year long. And why this matters is because if you can create great evergreen content, then if you get into a busy season of life, something happens and you're like, oh my gosh, I have no time to create other content, then you have built up a supply of evergreen content that can be repurposed and reused. Plus, you should just be reusing it. Too often, I've used this example so often, the people who create a 2-minute video and they spend $2,000 or $3,000 on this 2-minute video, and then they put it up once. Well, that video did you no good. Chances of that video actually helping you are so slim. But if you can take that video and repurpose it, if you can put it on YouTube and you can put it on Facebook organically, not just through YouTube, and you can divide that into bits. Like if you look at ours, if you go to our YouTube channel, if you're not watching it on YouTube right now, you watch this video, you'll see that we have banners across the bottom. Why do we have those? Because it makes it easy for me to have Amanda split it up and then just do one part on evergreen content. And then the next part, it would be it all starts with strategy, right? So that's what we do. We look at things, how can we create something, and then divide it. So you mentioned strategy. So talk about
strategy is very important. Everything, we've talked about this before. You need to be intentional with your marketing. What are you trying? What is the message that you're trying to get across? But what is the goal of your marketing? Are you trying to be educational? Are you trying to bring in sales? Is it a call to action? What is going on outside? We keep hearing this.
We're hearing something right over here. I don't know.
It's like they keep slamming a door. But anyway, I'm sorry if you can hear it. But strategy is important. You need to be thinking about that. Just like with every aspect of your business, you need to be intentional and you need to understand what your goals are and how you're going to get to that.
Yeah. And I want to, so one of the first things we're going to talk to you about is blogs, right? What kind of content can you create with evergreen content? Well, blogs are great, but I want to tell you what blogs should not be used as. And this is what people do a lot. They're like, hey, let us tell you about this service we offer, and let us just tell you why you want to hire us for this service. And that's not what this is. That this is a blog should be used as an educational element to your website. So let's talk about Force Security. They're one of our clients. Their blog will contain things like, what is a skiff? Right? Nobody knows what a skiff is. Well, let's explain it. What is a skiff? And what goes into building a skiff, right? What are some of the things you need to consider when you're buying a skiff, right? When you're going to build one. Same thing. If you
Now, will that blog potentially, does that blog have the potential of closing a sale? Yes. Right. Because people are Googling, you're not just Googling how to build a skiff. I'm not building a skiff in my house, but the people that are in the market for that, they're going to Google that, right? They might know a couple of companies, and then they're like, you know what? I wonder if there's anybody else. So they might Google that, or they might already know of a company and they're just going to do some research. So it's important for the blog to have the keywords that you're looking for. Again, strategy. So you've got to plan that out. What is the goal? What am I trying to get from it? What are the keywords that I'm going to use to get to that? And so you're building that blog. So yes, the ultimate goal is that somebody is going to buy something from you.
Right. But it doesn't have to be, it should not be a sales piece.
Don't be salesy.
It's not a sales piece
not a sales
at all. I'm looking through our blog we talk to you about every week. There's something there. It's always we give you everything. You could take everything that's on our website and you could just go ahead and do all your marketing. And we're okay with that. Mostly because people won't. They don't have time. They're running their business. They don't have time to do the marketing, and it takes work. Jen Schaub has a blog that is wonderful. She's a local realtor here in Annapolis, and her blog talks about what are the best restaurants, what are the best bars,
what are the best schools, because she's also targeting people that are moving to the area. Now, does that help her sell a house? No. But the fact that she's so knowledgeable about the area and she's giving away that information, and people might be searching, they'll be like, you know what? She seems to know what she's talking about. And that's what a blog does. It gives you legitimacy. It gives you legitimacy on Google. It tells Google that you know what you're talking about because look at all the information that you've got out there. And it gives you legitimacy with your audience because they see that you're giving them information, you're educating them. So obviously you're willing to research, you're willing to make that experience better for them.
Absolutely. And then I want to talk to you about the way we just said it. So Jen Schaub with her best ice cream shops. What's really cool about that is she'll do 5 best ice cream shops in the area. Well, then we can repurpose that by taking and creating a post for each of those, right? We can create a Facebook post, Facebook, Instagram, all of that for each of those. That gives us 5 pieces of content just for social media. But but you can cross promotes, right? That for the ice cream shops, right? They're going to see it and they're going to be like, oh, I was on this list, and they're going to share it. But the other thing is the other way you can repurpose it. And we just talked to a client about that this morning is that you can we've just created a blog. We've just created the video or the blog post or social media post. But you could then also do a video post, right? Where she could do a reel and say, one of my favorite ice cream shops, I'm out front right now with a reel, right? And an ice cream. She might have a stomachache.
And you can eat ice cream all year round.
Yes, exactly. So that's the kind of, when you're talking strategy, Anastassia spoke about strategy so well. Think about, how am I going to break this post down? So you don't want to have one single thing. You want to have it broken down into layers that you're going to be able to say, okay, I can go through that. What can I create from this particular blog, right?
Same with videos, really. Yeah. I mean, you need to have a strategy. You need to be make sure that I think things that are important. You need to make sure the lighting's good, that the sound is good, that you have a plan and you're going to go through with it. Now, you can wing it. You don't have to have it scripted. Why? Because if it's scripted, you can tell right now in every podcast that we've done that Ann and I, we kind of have these things on the side, but we don't know what each other's going to say. That's why we interrupt each other, or actually really why I interrupted.
Oh, I think we both do that. But we both do. It makes it more interesting if it's not completely scripted. Now, if we were to do this without the banners that you see here, we would probably lose track. We're a little squirrely that way.
Yeah.
We'd go, oh, there's something over here. Let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But we use the banners to keep us on track. So yes, have notes, have some ideas of what you want to talk about, but don't script it. Oh my goodness. Right in the middle of how do I have no idea.
But this is our authentic self that you are that you are seeing. Here, let me.
I have no idea how to unplug. Don't unplug the computer.
This one. Okay.
Oh my gosh. So right in the middle of everything, we're getting the phone calls. So sorry. I can't. Next time we won't have that sitting there. We don't usually do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So videos. One great thing about videos is you can create a long one, and you can do something. I'm going to give you a little tip. You can do something fun if you don't have the banners. If you clap a couple of times after each subject, then what you can do is go back and you'll know where that clap is where you want to cut.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
It'll give you a little tip when you look at when you're doing it on iMovie or whatever editing.
So you're talking like just like
doing.
Gentle, like some kind of, you're not talking like full on, like, oh my gosh, I'm so great.
Just one noise that makes it go, oh yeah, no. So I recently did Sunday PC.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday PC is one of our clients. We've talked about them before. We did an hour-long video with them where Ryan talked about why did he start the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
He talked about why he started it. He talked about what really inspired him, this one moment in time that made him think, oh, I think I could create a computer.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about, all kinds of things. But with each one, after he finished, we waited. And then he would start again. So we'd have that silence so I could look and say, okay, now I can cut it cleanly, right? So there are some tips and tricks to doing that, but you don't have to do that. It just will make it easier. But think about your videos in a way of how can I break it up? How can I make it more than one, right? And it kills me when I work with a videographer who wants to create one seamless video and he doesn't give me those little bits that we can use. I think that's wasting my client's money. I don't like that at all. I want you to give me something that we can break into bits so that we can create something that we can use multiple ways on social media and newsletters and anywhere else we want to do it.
Yeah. And make sure it's on brand, right? I just said, this is us. This is us. This is what you see and what you're listening to. You're basically just sitting down, listening to our conversation because this is who we are. This is how we speak to our clients, our employees, our families.
Yeah.
We are who we are 100% of the time. So for us, this phone ringing is on brand.
Yes, the phone ringing is totally on brand.
So if you are a super polished, I don't know what you would be. Attorney maybe that's buttoned up and very corporate, then yeah, maybe you should script your videos a little bit more. But remember that what we're always saying is that you need to be human, and the way to be human is to just speak.
Right. Absolutely. So podcast. We have created this podcast, and actually we will put in the show notes something about there is a case study we did on this podcast. So actually it was interesting because it wasn't actually this very podcast. We had a podcast that we were doing before this one that rolled into this, but it was called Small Business Connections. And we talked about what we did with that podcast to make it popular and to get us so many guests and to really get us some notice. And what it boiled down to is creating it in video, creating it in audio, putting it out as a podcast, putting it out on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. I mean, it went up in so many different places. Then we break it out into little pieces and we put those pieces out into the world, right? Then we create basically what we said in it, we create into a blog that then goes out into the world. So what are the things you can do that you can say, I'm going to create this one piece of content and I bet I can get 40 pieces of content from it, right? That's what you've got to think about. Do you have any, I'm trying to think of clients that we've done that for, because this podcast is such a good example of this.
Yeah, no. I do think that not everybody's comfortable on camera, and that's okay. You can just do it as a podcast and then, figure out how to cut that up and give it out, because there are ways to put the audio on social without a picture of somebody. Granted, we're always telling you to be more human, show your
Show your
face,
face.
make sure
Exactly.
that there is a face to your brand. Why? Because people aren't buying, if you're big enough like Coca-Cola and you don't have to have it, or McDonald's, like you mentioned last week, you don't have to have a picture. Well, you've got to have that product that people are coming back to get. I mean, you know what? Coca-Cola and McDonald's, not so good for you.
Right.
Just put that together.
Yeah.
But, so think about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, the whole point of this is to say content, it can seem daunting, but if you have a strategy and you think, okay, I'm going to create a big piece of content, and then I'm going to use that big piece of content to create. So think of it as a campaign, right? We're going to have a campaign in which we talk about repurposing content, right? That's all this is. It is a campaign in which we talk about repurposing content. We create a podcast for it. We turn it into a blog. We take that blog, we turn it into social media posts. We take those social media posts and maybe we even expand them. We create TikToks from them or reels from them. There are so many different, and it goes out in a newsletter, right?
Yes.
So many ways to do it. There's so many ways to do it. So I want you to remember, this was a short one. It was an easy one, but it is,
I think this is probably one of the most important ones.
So important.
Creating that evergreen content and repurposing that evergreen content. So it's a good base for your social media, for your marketing strategy.
Exactly. I think keep in mind what happens a lot of times is that people get stuck, right? They get stuck. They can't get things done because I don't know what to post. But if they can figure out those just like 10 pieces of big content, they would probably have a year's worth of content if they create 10 big blogs, right? But if you create blogs every week, you're going to have so much content. You're going to be people are going to definitely see you as the expert.
And if you are a solopreneur, this is something that we can help, which we don't even have it on our website yet. We have a content calendar that we are selling, and it's not just, we don't just give it to you. Like, we will work with you and figure out how to come up with these pieces with you, and how to show you how to do it, and then and help you, because that way you can figure it out yourself and put it out.
Yeah, this is something we've been wanting to do for a long time, because it's what we do currently for our clients is we do all of the work. We help them find their brand. We help them find their voice. We put them on social media. We create every single post, including all the graphics and the video. And sometimes we have to bring in somebody else for video. But we create every single piece of content for them. But there are, it's not cheap. It's not a cheap service. So there are people who are just starting their business and can't afford that. And it's killed us when we talk to people and they say, I can't afford it. And we know we want them to succeed, but we can only do so much. And so we created this with the idea that we can help you. We can give you this document that really says, these are the things you're going to post and when you're going to post them and how you're going to post them. And here's your strategy. And it is very, very valuable. And it makes my heart happy, because I feel like we're helping even the smaller businesses. We're
only taking a certain number of people every month, because, we want to make sure that you're getting what you pay for. And in order to do it properly, we are limiting it.
Exactly. So if you're interested, message us, DM us, call us, whatever you want to do. ASMMdigital.com is how you find us. Speaking of which, if you don't want that and you just want to do it on your own without any help, go to ASMMdigital.com/blog, and you will find so much content there. You will find so much information. Actually, this goes back to a point that we should have made earlier. I think people are afraid to give information because they think that if they give the secret sauce, people won't come to them for the work.
And I think I totally disagree with that, because you're not going to do it.
You're not going to do it. No.
Here's the thing. The plumber, there's all kinds of things on there that
how to change the little, what is that little strainer thing in your water, right?
Yeah.
Most people can do that. Most people won't do that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's so many things that you can put out there. And even if they do, they'll remember, oh, that's where I got that information. And they'll come back to you. And when they have a big leak, they're going to call you.
Or when you go, so our oven broke. We have a double oven. My bottom oven broke. The guy came in yesterday and fixed it. It was very, very quick. You know, part of me, I'm a handy person. I will try and figure things out, but there are certain things I won't mess with. Gas appliances are one of them. And, but yeah, I can look things up, but I don't want to.
No.
You could give me that, that appliance repairman could have given me the entire step-by-step instruction on how to do it. I wouldn't have done it. No. I would have been like, here you go. And why? Because I'm not confident in myself. Now, with marketing, a lot of people are not confident in their abilities. Right. Now, that's okay because you have a business with your strengths. And yes, our blog, we give it all away. And Absolutely. There are people who are going to take that and run. Go for it.
Yes.
You know, that's awesome. And then there are people that are going to read it and be like, oh, I can see all the things that I should be doing that I'm not doing.
Right. And I will
that's
say,
why
yes,
I'm going to call you.
That does happen with things. Sometimes I'll sit down with somebody and I'm like, I can't take you on as a client, but I can give you some tips. And then they'll say, I can't do that. I don't have the time.
Yeah. We have a roofer client, Quality Remodeling. We have blogs on there, like how to maintain your home. Are you going to get up on the roof? No. But we're going to tell you in the blog what you should be looking for. Absolutely. So maybe you do look up there and you know what? You look up there, you see a loose shingle. Then who are you going to call?
Right.
The roofer that told you that you need to look up on your roof. There was a storm.
Right.
Look up on your roof. So these are the things that, yes, you might be thinking that, oh, I'm just giving them away. Now, seriously, if Big Mac published the Big Mac sauce, do you really think that people are going to go and make their own? They're not.
They're not. They're absolutely not. So that is, that's to get that one out of the way. I do want to remind you, go over to the blog. We give you everything. It's there. You can use it. It's easy and it's free.
You will not find the social media content calendar there.
You will not find that. That is something we sell
because
yes. And in order to really use it well, you need us. Mm-hmm. We can help you with that. I also want to remind you, burgersandbands.org is on the 15th of May. It's coming up. We are so
next
close.
Week, 9 days from now.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited.
Crazy.
So if you are in the Maryland area or within driving distance of the Maryland area, come on down. It's going to be a really good time. Kelly Bell, Chris Sachs, Honey Soul.
There's so many bands. And I love it because Ann is like a big band. You like the noise.
Yes.
And I do like the noise. I will go out there when Kelly Bell is playing and I will go out there for a lot of the bands, but I won't stay out there the whole time because it's just too much for me. But the acoustic stage is where it is at for me. I love that kind of music. If you're in my office, then I have this one album that's like Beatles acoustic guitar. I listen to that all the time because I love it. It's mellow.
Absolutely.
And that's my thing. So there's something for everyone. We have the acoustic
and it's
stage.
kid friendly and it's there's so much. It's at a tap house. So if it's a beautiful day, which it's going to be, if it's going to be a beautiful day, there is, 25 beers or 30 beers or something that you can choose from and all kinds of, it's so much fun.
And it is a great cause. We believe that we are making a difference in our area. We're changing the conversation. We're letting people of all ages know that it is okay to say that I am not okay.
Absolutely.
And it is okay. Mental illness is just like any other illness. If you had a broken arm, that's a visible thing that people can see and they realize that they need to be careful with you. Mental illness is the same way. It's just not visible.
Right.
So we need to take care of people. We need to let people know that they aren't alone. And this is how we're doing it. If you're in a city that you want to run something like this, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We will see you next week on Monday. Hope you are getting a lot out of this. And we look forward to hearing what you think. So do leave those reviews. We'd really enjoy that. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.